Home Alone, an iconic movie from the 90s that holds a 30-year record and is still very popular. But as with every movie, there are some secrets that you might have missed and that I want to share with you guys. Let's have a look. Yeah, I know, Home Alone is supposed to be a Christmas movie. This is not Christmas, but we're still in winter, so I'm just going to count it. But above all, it is a timeless classic. A movie that held the record for the highest single territory total for close to 30 years. Domestically, that movie made $285 million. Good God. That was written by John Hughes and Chris Columbus, two genius movie makers that I've talked about plenty on this channel. Now, John Hughes thought of the concept for the movie while they were making Uncle Buck, another one of his movies. One that also starred Macaulay Culkin. He wrote that movie with Macaulay in mind, but he auditioned hundreds of other kids. We all know who got the part in the end. Macaulay Culkin. He got the part. I thought that was clear. Anyways, the first draft of the movie was written in 9 days. That's insane. Even for John Hughes. Another actor that also was in Uncle Buck was the late John Candy. And he got to do a cameo in Home Alone. Well, a cameo. It was quite substantial. He played that polka band leader that Kevin's mom meets in Scranton Airport, if you remember that scene. Now, according to sources, John Candy was paid less than the kid that played the pizza delivery guy. Well, he did it as a favor for John Hughes, so he only took like the official bare minimum that you could get. All of his scenes were recorded in one day and all of it was improvised. For one, that shows the genius of John Candy. And Catherine O'Hara, who plays Kevin's mom. And she's still popping off. I loved her in Schitt's Creek. Something you need to check out.
Do you not know my middle name?
Of course I do. I blessed you with it.
Okay, so, then what name should I put down then?
Alexis something Rose.
And two, it shows how much John Hughes respected John Candy. See, John Hughes was very particular about his scripts. The way it was written is the way it needs to be executed. So he wasn't really big on improvisation. Although Chris Columbus, the director, also got away with adding a little extra to the script. See, in the movie there's this old creepy neighbor that lives next door, that all the kids are afraid of because they say he murdered his family. That little bit of information was part of the script, what John Hughes had written. What Chris added afterwards is the whole conversation between the old man and Kevin in the church. And that whole wholesome reunion right at the end. It really gives it a Christmas feel. The next thing you might not know, Robert De Niro turned down the role of Harry Lime. You know, one of the Wet Bandits, the short one. Could you imagine Robert De Niro having his skull set on fire? Or tumbling down those icy stairs like that? Yeah, no. Joe Pesci ended up playing the role, which in a way was just as surprising. He was not known for his comedic roles, but he did end up playing it perfectly. He did bring his A game. Maybe a little too A-game. Apparently, he went all method on the role and basically completely ignored Macaulay Culkin to make sure that he was afraid of him, which worked. It is definitely noticeable in some scenes. Now, talking about scenes, Macaulay Culkin, his most iconic scene in the movie is the one where he does the screaming with his hands on his face. The whole aftershave thing. However, that was not how that scene was planned. First off, they didn't give him real aftershave. Let's be clear about that. So Chris Columbus had to explain to him how that would feel. And he told him that it would be a burning sensation and the best thing he could do was put it on there and then remove his hands and scream. Well, Macaulay did it differently. And that made it into a very iconic scene. A scene that has been copied by, well, I'm not going to say hundreds of movies, but definitely hundreds of instances. Now you could ask yourself, did Macaulay not understand what Chris was telling him, or was this his way of doing something unique with that little segment? We will never know, but I'm sure glad he did. Talking about iconic moments. In the stunt business, there is a stunt named after Home Alone. See, all of the stunts they did in the movie were real. There was no CGI, no wires, not even padding. Those stunt actors took all of the hits. And there's this one scene that I already referenced earlier where Joe Pesci's character kind of flies off the icy stairs in front of the house. And he does get some airtime in. And that is because his stuntman, Troy Brown, really just gave it his all. He just threw himself off those stairs. And like I said, there was no padding, no cushioning, no wires. He just landed on his back really hard. But it made for a pretty hilarious scene. And ever since, when the stuntman has to fly off the stairs that way and land on his back, they call it a Home Alone. Now you know. I'm pretty sure I did a Home Alone once. Wasn't a stunt. But it would explain a lot. Like the dent I have in the back of my head and why I'm so bad at math. Anyways, Macaulay Culkin's younger brother, Kieran Culkin, also had a role in the movie. He played that nephew that always wet his bed. You know, the one with the creepy smile as he was drinking from his little juice box. Yeah, that is his younger brother. He ended up becoming a really great and famous actor on his own accord. The movie that Kevin is using in Home Alone to kind of scare away the wet bandits, keeps looping that movie and using voice lines. It's called Angels with Filthy Souls. But that movie doesn't really exist. That segment was recorded just for Home Alone, which was kind of disappointing when I heard that. For the longest time I was convinced that that was an actual movie, and I couldn't find it, but turns out it wasn't. I have to say though, by the second Home Alone movie, I kind of had caught up. It was starting to smell a little sus.
I'm gonna give you to the count of 10 to get your ugly, yellow, no good keister off my property before I pump your guts full of lead.
All right, Johnny, I'm sorry. I'm going.
1, 2, 10.
And that brings me to the last fact, which is the best one. There's a conspiracy theory that Elvis Presley, who died in 1977, is in Home Alone as an extra. That scene I was talking about earlier in Scranton Airport, where Kevin's mom meets John Candy's character, the polka band leader. She is talking to the people at the desk, and behind her there's a guy with a beard, an extra. Conspiracy theorists think that that is Elvis Presley, moonlighting as an extra. Oh god, you gotta love a good conspiracy theory. What else do you do with all those tinfoil hats? Come on. But it turned out that that man is called Gary Groth. He sadly passed away, but there's a picture of him years later after playing that role, as it was confirmed by his widow. It was not Elvis Presley. Elvis Presley is dead, guys. Just accept it, okay? Tupac, on the other hand, and Michael Jackson. Yeah, that's for a different video. But tell me, what secrets do you know about Home Alone? And which of the movies is your favorite? Let me know in the comments below. For now, however, that was it. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up. It always helps us out. I also want to thank our members. We could not make these videos without you guys. You too can become part of the family by becoming a member right here on YouTube. If you have a few minutes left, maybe check out one of our other videos. But above all, make sure to subscribe, because I'm going to be back with a new video next week. Till then, take care of yourself, take care of each other. Bye bye.